What's up, and welcome back to another episode of the Account for Life podcast. I'm Jay Moore, the Healthy Accountant, helping you to account for your life. Today, I've got a question for you. If you come up against something that seemed like there's no way this is going to happen, or you come up against something and you've never done it before, it seems like it's impossible. When could it be possible? What would happen, or, I guess the title is Nothing Will Be Impossible when I have the faith the size of a mustard seed. Jesus was talking to his disciples, and, he shared with them that all they needed was the faith the size of a mustard seed. And when we go and look up what a mustard seed looks like, like many seeds, it's a tiny seed. But the mustard plant, it grows pretty big. So as he's making this correlation between a mustard seed and what the mustard seed becomes, what we have to then learn from this is like, wait a second, I don't need a lot. I don't need a lot. The last few days I've been talking about faith and fitness and finances. And today, nothing will be impossible in your finances when you have the size of a mustard seed faith. But I know that's too challenging to understand. I don't even understand. I just want to have a mustard seed faith. It doesn't make any sense to me. So we're gonna unpack this. Because I think Jesus also said that when you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move a mountain, right? So he says that. He says when you have the size of faith, the faith the size of a mustard seed, right? You can tell the mountain to move. You can also, I think he said that a mulberry tree could be pulled up, and so what he's doing, he says, look, nothing will be impossible for you. Nothing will be impossible for you. Now, that's a very challenging statement to actually believe. I have to say believe, because there is doubt. There's doubt. Like, nothing's impossible for me. Now, I know there's no way nothing is impossible for me. Well, if we put it into context, we can say nothing will be impossible for you in the things that you're supposed to do, and the capacity that you're supposed to have. So that's true. Now, if I'm Muggsy Bogues and I'm 5'3", I play in the NBA. So that seemed impossible. It's the thing, Muggsy Bogues is not going to be 7 foot, so he's never going to be Shaquille O'Neal. So there's always going to be a limitation to what it is we can do, but there will be nothing impossible for you when you do the things that you should do. So I was on Amazon, checking out book sales and seeing kind of like it seems like it takes a couple of days before when a purchase is made, before it shows up in the Amazon system. And so I'm looking it over. I'm looking at some of the stats, and I'm looking at where I'm ranking, like beyond tax strategy. Where is it ranking? I saw that one, the other day. It was like 300 and something in the categories that I'm in. And today I was at what was I at? 40 something? I can't remember. It was either 40, maybe 40 or 80, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I said, you know what? So it's not impossible to be the number one seller. I may not be a global number one seller right now, but I could be a number one seller in the categories that I'm in. And I says, wow, that's interesting. I said, so this month, I'm going to end June. We'll make it June, just because I know how their system is so slow. Before the end of July, I'll be a number one seller. I will be a number one seller. See, I think what Jesus is trying to say is that when you look at something, you cannot look at it as an impossible thing. Because if you look at it as an impossible thing, it has to be impossible to you. So if I'm looking at it, I'm saying, well, you know what? Look at that. I'm a number one seller on Amazon in small business taxes. I'm a number one seller on Amazon, right, in home-based business. It was another area. I'm a number one seller there. And because I'm a number one seller, people from all over the country, maybe even the world, start seeing my book, and they're interested in the book, and they start buying it, and they're leaving reviews, and they're excited because it's like, man, I learned so much, or I love the story, or I love how it made me feel, and wow, this is so good. So nothing's impossible when you actually come under the influence of that. It's not impossible. If someone else did something, then that's the first thing we got to say to ourselves, that it's possible for me when I know that it's possible for me. You know, before I named the title today, I was going to, I think I said, name it like the connection between faith and finances. But I do want to talk about that because finances is one of the most interesting areas that we focus on in our lives. And I want to explain the connection that finances have with faith. Because if I don't have any, if my faith is not at a level that can increase my finances, if I want them to increase, then they're not going to increase. They're not going to get better. My faith has to be like, look at that. I was broke. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any savings. I didn't have any investments. I didn't have anything. But you know what? Come this time next year, I will have a multi-million-dollar portfolio. I will have a business that's producing profits, multi seven figures. Like these are the things that we gotta first start to think about and to say. This is the, what is it? The talk, think, do principle coming out of Joshua 1:8. And the results of the Joshua 1:8 principle is simple. It says, you will make your way prosperous when you talk about it, when you think about it, and when you do the actions that is necessary for the thing. You will make your way prosperous and you will have good success. I just love the story of Joshua. I just love Joshua. I think Joshua is he's one of my heroes. Here's why Joshua is one of my heroes. He had a mentor that he sat under for many years. Just sat under him. Learned everything he could. Here's the thing, though. He still wasn't prepared. He wasn't quite ready in his mind to lead Israel. It took God himself to tell him it was time. It took God himself to tell him that no more mentorship. It says, no more mentorship, Joshua. Moses, my servant, is dead, is what it says in Joshua 1 and 2, I think. Moses, my servant is dead. It's time for you to step up, Mr. Joshua. You need to be courageous. You need to stand firm. Be strong. This is what God's telling Joshua. See, Joshua had a mentor. He had a coach for so many years. He saw his coach do amazing things. I've seen my coaches. I've seen my mentors, and they have gone to the mountaintop. But God is telling, I hope he's telling you too. He's telling me, my servant is dead. But now my coaches aren't. Here's what God did for me this month. He brought me some death, family, and he brought a side mentor in through death. And he's telling me, my servants are dead. Be strong, Joshua. Be courageous, Joshua. You'll make your way prosperous and have good success. So the connection between your faith, my faith, and a financial future that is amazing. Let's put this in context before we really get into the finances and all the good that we want out of the financial side. The question is why? The question is why? Why Why should you have control over these finances that you're saying you would like to have and administrate? Why should you have that? See, because there are people who know how to manage, there are people who know how to grow things, and then there are people who will sit on it. There are people who will do nothing. There are people who will hold on to it just for themselves. And God right now is testing. He's saying, hey, look, what you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it when I give it to you? Because if you don't have a plan, if you don't have this faith connection that nothing is impossible for you, you get nervous. You'll be afraid. You won't want to stand up for what it is that you're going to do. You will kind of like pull back and just like, I'm not sure if I should do that. And next thing you know, the thing that God gave you to grow is not growing. It's not multiplying. But here's what Jesus said in the parable of the sower. He tells us that you're going to have to put down the seed. See, because by putting down the seed, you put yourself in a situation for a few things to happen. Some seed just ain't going to go in the ground. Some seed just gonna hit the concrete, and the sun's gonna come, and it's just gonna nothing's gonna happen. Some seed is gonna get in the ground, but it's not really in the ground, and it's gonna be right there with the weeds, and the weeds are gonna grab it. Then there's gonna be some seed that just, I don't know, just kind of like goes in, but doesn't bear any fruit. What? Think about that. Those are three things. We're sowing seeds and we still have not produced anything. But then there's some seed that gets right in the right place at the right time, gets the right watering. Everything is happening. It's almost like it when it went in the ground, it went into a special ground. And that ground, it says when it falls on good soil. So the thing about that, it's saying that all soil ain't good. We just talked about 3. So 3 times the seeds went down, but they didn't produce anything. But there was one that wanted to produce. It wanted to produce, but it got choked out by the weeds. But when it falls on good soil, it don't just grow. It grows exponentially. This is so powerful today. I'm listening to what I'm saying, and I'm taking it in at the same time because I've never said these things before. And so this, the way this is coming out is this is literally a first time for this perspective. When that seed grows, it says 30, 60, or 100 fold is what happens when seed falls on good soil. When I woke up this morning and, my mind is just kind of like thinking about the day and what's next. I could almost feel what I'm saying in what I was hearing. I didn't, like, these words weren't coming in my mind, but I could feel what I'm saying in, like, I could feel what I'm saying with what I heard as I woke up this morning. It's almost like, be strong, Joshua. Be courageous, Joshua. Be of good cheer, Joshua. All right. And so, one thing I'm going to leave you with today is I really want to just kind of like really get into this faith and finance connection. Both things, faith and finance, are an unlimited resource. That's the first thing we want to know. Faith is unlimited. You can have as much as you would like. You can have as much faith as you would like. Money, I'm calling it finances. There's as much money as you would like. It's not shrinking. It's not like there's not enough. There's enough for everybody. It's enough. So when as we make this transition and now we connect our financial wellness, our financial fitness to faith, to bring it home so that this year in 2024, yeah, there's 6 months left. In 6 months, you can do 10 times more than you did the first 6 months. You can do 30 times more than you did the first 6 months. You can do 100 times more than you did the first 6 months when we apply this principle, knowing that faith is unlimited and the amount of finances on the planet is unlimited. So we got to first understand that piece. It's kind of like this, as I use this metaphor. If you went to the beach, say you went to the beach and you took 10 trucks, 10 18-wheeler trucks. These trucks had these special trailers on them that they carried water. And you went down there and you had 10 of them. And you're like, yo, I'm going to fill my trucks up to the brim. And you filled all these 10 trucks up with as much water as you can put in each truck. Let me ask you a question. Would it look like you were there? Do you think there'll be less water? Will there be less water in the ocean because you took some water? Oh, and you came back and maybe you came and you said, you know what? I'm gonna bring 100 trucks. Would it look like you took any water out of that ocean? Wouldn't even notice. No one would notice. This is how money works. Now I'm telling you this because this is my discovery. My discovery is that there's an unlimited resource of wealth, money, all the stuff on this planet, but they're telling you that it's limited, so you can't have it, but someone else gets to control it. And today we will be, what's the word I'm looking for? Delivered from this idea. And because it's an unlimited resource, you can have as much as you could, manage. Keyword, as much as you can manage. So, all right. Well, Jay, how do you do that? Well, it's kind of like I'm looking at my stats in my book, and I'm saying, well, I'll be number one bestseller. You got to first declare. You got to first say. You have to say it. The business, easily 3 million. Easy 3 million in the next 6 months. Easy. It's only 3 million. Like, no one's going to know. No one's going to know that we made 3 million. No one's going to know that we make 10 million next year or 25 million next year or 30 million. No one's going to even know it. It's not even going to be like I'm a top business. Think about this. We've been programmed to think so small. $100,000. That is so small. That's nothing. You can't do anything with that. You can't even help anybody with that. You can barely take care of yourself with $100,000. People are going for $10,000 a month. We have to get past that and get to like, what would I really, really, really desire? What does my dreams really look like? Why? Why do I need to do that? Why do I need to manage that? Why do I need to have that? I know why. Do you? See, when we were brought to this planet, we were brought here for a reason. I'm on the planet specifically for this cause. For this cause, to help people to be delivered to be delivered from the way that they've been so that they can get to where they need to go. It's like you got to discover your purpose. You're going to need resources. You're going to need money. And you're going to need to be healthy. Because without all three, it's going to be short-lived. So we need to do that. I'm here for that. That's what God put me on this planet. That's what God took me through the things that I've been. That's what God put me in the family I was in. That's what God put me in New Jersey where I grew up. God, that's what God put me every place that I've been for right now. Nothing will be impossible for you when you have the faith the size of a mustard seed and you say that this mountain is not a mountain. This is just something for me to step over. This is just something for me to just like laugh at and say, you know what, you're in my way. You're causing trouble. Just die. That's what Jesus told the mulberry tree. He looked at the mulberry tree that was not producing any figs. No, a fig tree. He looked at the fig tree and it wasn't producing any figs. And he says, die, you stupid tree. You're not even producing anything. And they come back and the tree is dead. And then the disciples are like, Lord, isn't that the tree you told to go die? You did it. He's like, what? He's like, of course it happened. Of course it happened. Look, if you had this faith of the size of a mustard seed, you'd be able to do stuff like this too. So what Jesus is trying to teach us, let's say this, man. I'm going to just say this. What God's trying to teach us is simple. Become yourself. Become yourself so that nothing will be impossible for you. You'd be able to easily connect faith with finances and fitness and all the stuff because your life is your life. And because your life is your life, you get to take your life and you get to use your life for the glory of the Creator. The Creator needs you to step up today. Become you. Become the best version of you. Because by doing that, you then get to help the people that need what you have. So today, guys, here's what I have. Faith, fitness, and finances. God has given me these three areas of life to connect them, to help people to discover their purpose, their unique gift, their differences, so they can, one, make more money, do the things they should be doing, build their families up, like change their lineage, their legacies. This is what God's given me. And I'm excited because, look, I think I've been kind of like skirting around this for the past 7 years. But as of today, we're launching a new program to teach people how to live their life on the next level. Like the book that I wrote back, the book that was published back in February, we're moving it as we're making it into a full coaching program, a 12-week program that's going to teach people how to go to new levels in their life with system and with principles. And when you do the stuff, like it's going to be an amazing program. Like I'm super excited about it because, it was supposed to be a coaching program, but for a different reason. But now I see the real reason why this program needed to wait until now to launch. So we're going to be doing that. If you are someone who's, sick and tired of the stuff, like you know that, there's a problem with, education system. There's a problem with the religious system. There's a problem with the financial system and the health system. Like if you can agree that these things are problems, they're outdated. They are not working for anybody. Well, you know what? They're not working for the people who know they're not working for them. So if you say, man, all these systems they're not really producing the results that we know we really want, then look, I want you to just reach out reach out and say, hey, look, I want to know more about this program is. We're putting together some stuff. And so I know that I'm going to be putting some stuff out, today, but this is the first time officially that I'm actually saying and inviting people. One, here's the type of people that should want to join this: faith-driven entrepreneurs, business owners. Here's why: because this is not just about, the same old life. This is about a new life. And so when you're in entrepreneurship and business, what happens is it's almost like when you're in that realm, going to a new level, it's worth it. Like just to not be doing that. That's just me. So that's my way of saying, look, if that's not you, then don't even worry about it. don't even apply. Faith-driven entrepreneurs. And I'm going to put more information out about how that works so that you can know exactly, that's me. I want to do it. Let's go. And then I'll have a short conversation with you just to make sure it's a fit, because if it's not a fit, we're not just going to, it's not a free program. So if it's not a fit, we're not going to bring you in, because I don't want to waste your time. So guys, I want to thank you for joining me. Be on the lookout. Keep listening. We'll talk more about this on the next episode as well. So God bless you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.
This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.